The Baltimore Ravens have mastered something that most other NFL teams struggle with: playing to the strengths of their best players. They consistently put their best players in position to succeed. They don't try and force Lamar Jackson to play like Tom Brady, and they don't try and force Derrick Henry to play like Christian McCaffrey. But that's obvious. You want to play to the strengths of your two best players, but not every team does that. On the Steelers, Justin Fields proved that he's a competent quarterback when put in a system that lets him be mobile. But back when he was on the Bears, he was being forced to be a pocket passer. There were little to no designed quarterback runs or quarterback runs at all, no rollouts, no boot actions. Besides forcing him to be a pocket passer, the Bears couldn't run the ball. Fields thrives in similar situations as Lamar did early in his career. Before Lamar developed his incredible pocket passing ability, he thrived in run-first, pass-second offenses, where opposing teams didn't know if the quarterback or running back was going to run. Throw on top of that play action, and it's a deadly combination. But instead, the Bears decided to throw out the worst offensive line in the league year after year. Chicago would have found much more success if they had simply let Fields play like Fields, not force him to play like something he's not. The Ravens, however, created their schemes to help benefit their players. When the Ravens first drafted Lamar Jackson, they didn't force him to fit into the pre-existing system. They didn't try and make him a traditional pocket passer. Instead, they built the offense around his strengths. Jackson's ability to break out of the pocket, extend plays with the legs, and make incredible throws on the run made him an instant mismatch for defenses. So the Ravens implemented an offense that maximized those strengths. Run pass options, zone reads, bootlegs, everything to allow Lamar to create off script initially. And as Lamar's abilities progressed and he became more of a pocket passer, they allowed him to throw the ball more. Instead of trying to change Lamar to fit a conventional quarterback mold, the Ravens said, no, you're special, and we're going to design a system that takes full advantage of what you do best. This is why the Ravens offense is so dangerous. They've created a system that works for Lamar Jackson, not the other way around. And other teams need to take note. But it's not just Lamar Jackson. The same story goes for Derrick Henry. For years, Derrick Henry has been one of the most dominant running backs in the NFL, but not every team would reshape their offense to fit a running back. Henry isn't your typical running back. He's a freight train who thrives on power and getting stronger as the game progresses and the defense gets more tired. The Ravens didn't ask him to fit into a committee backfield or use him in a complex zone blocking scheme. Instead, they're just giving him the ball early and often and leaning on him to wear down defenses. There was, however, a bit of a learning curve with Derrick Henry. Him and Lamar thrive in two different types of run games. Henry thrives in single back formations. Henry's arguably the best outside zone runner we've ever seen in the NFL. However, Lamar thrives in the shotgun formations, where they can use read options and design quarterback runs. They are two different types of runners, and the growing pains were obvious in the first couple of weeks. In the first 2 weeks specifically, Derrick Henry averaged 4.1 yards per carry, but ever since then, he's been averaging over 6.5 yards per carry in each game. It took some time, but they were able to create a system that benefited both Lamar and Derrick Henry. Instead of forcing Derrick Henry into a system that doesn't play to his strengths, the Ravens fully embrace what he does best: pounding the ball downfield, breaking tackles, and wearing out defenses. And instead of forcing Lamar to become an under-center quarterback, they have adopted the pistol formation, where Derrick Henry is lined up behind Lamar, but Lamar isn't forced to be under center. This allows for both the outside zone to be called and read options and quarterback design runs. It's the best of both worlds. But of course, sometimes they will call under center runs for Derrick Henry or shotgun runs for Lamar. But the Ravens' understanding of their players' strengths have allowed them to build an offense that has Lamar Jackson on pace to win his third MVP and Derrick Henry currently being second in the NFL in rushing yards. And like I said at the top of the video, it's not just Lamar and Derrick. Zay Flowers is just as important to this offense. So is Mark Andrews, so is Justice Hill, so is Rashad Bateman. Zay Flowers specifically is 5th in receiving yards in the NFL. Zay Flowers is one of, if not the shiftiest receiver in the NFL. You know who else was one of the shiftiest receivers in the NFL? Kadarius Toney. Look what happened to him in Kansas City. Yeah, he had drop issues, but Kansas City wasn't using him properly. They used him as an out-and-out possession receiver like they used Juju Smith-Schuster, instead of letting him catch the ball in space and letting him try to make a man or two miss. The Ravens, however, have been able to get the best out of Zay by getting him the ball on short screen passes, shallow slants, or even sometimes, like in the clip that I'm showing right now, finding him butt naked open across the middle of the field. These play calls allow for Zay to showcase his athletic ability and, more often than not, results in a massive gain. Now, I could go on and on about how Mark Andrews is being used perfectly in the red zone, how Rashad Bateman has developed into a great X receiver on the outside for 50-50 balls. I would be here for hours trying to do that. so I have to move on. But before we get into the second step of the blueprint, if you're enjoying what you've seen so far, please hit the subscribe button and like the video. It means a lot to me and helps this video get pushed out to more people so that they too can understand how to build a successful team. And with that being said, let's get on to step number 2. So we've established that step 1 to the Ravens blueprint is to play to your team's strengths. Now, step 2 is investing in your offensive line. Again, I hate to go back to this team as an example, but it works. The Bears have not had a good offensive line in years. This is the reason they weren't able to run the ball and the reason they couldn't take full advantage of Justin Fields. And it's the same reason why Caleb Williams isn't playing incredibly well right now. This week, in the first half, Caleb Williams' average time to throw was 1.92 seconds, the quickest time to throw for any quarterback all season. This is so obviously because he doesn't have time to throw. Caleb's best ability as a quarterback is his arm and ability to extend plays. We saw it early in the season, like this throw to DJ Moore, but recently he hasn't been given time to create a play. Last week, against the Patriots, Williams got sacked 9 times. To put this into perspective, Jordan Love has played 7 games this season and has only been sacked 7 times. Jameis Winston has played 7 games this season and has only been sacked 9 times. On this season, Caleb Williams has been sacked 38 times, which is most in the NFL. Now, let's just disregard the Bears because maybe they're an anomaly. Isn't it crazy that of the teams with the 5 worst offensive lines, all 5 of them have 4 or less wins? And on the flip side, of the teams with the 5 best offensive lines, 4 of the 5 have 7 or more wins through 10 weeks. Clearly, there's some type of correlation between good offensive lines and winning games. The Ravens knew that. That's why they drafted Tyler Linderbaum. That's why they extended Ronnie Stanley's contract. But the Ravens' strategy of building around their players' strengths isn't limited just to their offense. The Ravens utilize their versatile defenders to disguise their cover schemes effectively also. Players like Kyle Hamilton, who can play both safety and slot corner, allow for the Ravens to shift coverages seamlessly, confusing quarterbacks and taking away their primary reads. With a front 7 that includes physical, run-stopping players like Michael Pierce and Roquan Smith, the Ravens have built a defense that excels at clogging up running lanes and forcing offenses into 3rd and long situations. This plays into their strengths of wanting to send all-out blitzes on obvious passing situations, which would be 3rd and long. By focusing on drafting and signing versatile, athletic, and physical defenders, they created a unit that can adapt to any opponent. Playing to the strengths of every player on both sides of the ball has been their key to dominance not just this season, but the entirety of the Lamar Jackson era. And it's a blueprint that every team can follow to build a successful roster. But how exactly can other teams learn from the Ravens' success? Well, it's simple. Build a system that plays to the strengths of your players. If you have a mobile quarterback, design plays that allow him to make plays with his legs or throw on the run. If you have a superstar running back, feature him in every way possible. Look at the Dolphins. Devon Achane is the Dolphins' 3rd leading receiver, and he's a running back. He's also their leading rusher. He's so good that they just want to get him the ball however they can because they know he'll make a play, and he always does. If you have a top-tier receiver, make sure you're getting him the ball in situations where he can make a difference. Like Zay Flowers, get him the ball in open space and let him make 6 guys miss and score a touchdown. Again, look at the Dolphins. They drafted Tua Tagovailoa, a player known for running the RPO efficiently and being incredibly quick with his reads and having very good anticipation for his throws. Instead of sticking him in an offense where he had to stray away from these strengths, the Dolphins concocted an offense that allows him to showcase every single one of these strengths week in and week out. This allowed for him to lead the NFL in passing yards last season and for his receiver Tyreek to lead the NFL in receiving yards last season. Whether you're a Ravens fan or not, it's clear that this approach can lead to success. By adapting your game plan to fit your stars, you give yourself the best chance to win. And for the Ravens, the sky's the limit. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more videos by me, make sure to click the one on the screen right now. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next video.